James Vince became the first man to 1,000 championship runs as he blasted his way to a career-best 240 as Hampshire recorded their largest ever championship victory as they thrashed Essex by 470 runs with a day to spare at the Ageas Bowl. That was also the joint second highest runs victory in the long history of this competition. Vince had already raced on to 154 out of his side's 264 for two, which had put Hampshire 429 runs ahead after Jimmy Adams had rejected the chance of enforcing a follow-on. The first thing on Vince's mind was to beat the 180 he made as his previous best back in 2010 as a 19-year-old against Yorkshire in Scarborough. He had been ably supported by Will Smith on the previous day. Their stand had already registered 240, and with both batsmen looking good again, it was going to be a while before Essex tasted any more success. Smith had begun the day on 78, and 40 minutes into it, he was raising his bat after completing his first 100 for the club he joined from Durham in the winter. It was a superb knock which had used up 184 balls, from which he'd struck 8 fours. He and his partner had completely taken this game away from Essex. Since the first month of the season, there's been a real battle between Vince and Worcestershire's Daryl Mitchell to see who would be the first to 1,000 runs in the championship this year. Vince won the prize when this shot took him past 194. A sublime straight drive typified this quite sensational knock. After spending 7 balls on 199, this was the 27th four in what was, along with Chris Rogers' match-winning 241 for Middlesex against Yorkshire at Lord's, the best innings by anyone this summer. What's more, it had come at exactly a run a ball. It was some way to record a maiden double hundred from a man who on this form should score a few more. James Foster called on all but himself and Ben Foakes to bowl in this innings, and he wasn't helped by another injury to T. Mal Mills midway through his 10th over. On this form, however, Vince could probably have sent the likes of Fred Truman or Michael Holding off to the boundary with ease. The partnership had by now moved into the 300s, and it went on to become the highest ever alliance for any wicket for Hampshire against Essex. In the end, with neither batsman looking as if they may get out, the stand moved on to 387 made in 72 overs. It had put Hampshire 576 runs to the good. And it was only ended not by a moment of brilliance from a bowler, but by a catch on the cover boundary. Vince had entertained and astonished as he was out for a 240, which had been made off just 222 balls, with 33 fours included. Just before lunch, Smith went on to his 150, an innings almost ignored by some due to Vince's brilliance. The former Notts and Durham batsman had required 242 balls, 20 more than Vince had faced in his entire knock, and he'd helped himself to 13 fours. At lunch, Jimmy Adams declared on 440 for 3, made in 90 overs. Smith left unbeaten on 151. That gave Essex 5 sessions to make a very unlikely 606 to win, and it became impossible when Tom Wesley edged James Tomlinson's 9th ball to who else but Vince. Thankfully for the visitors, they had Ravi Bopara in next, and he's also been in prime form of late. How his side needed him to now bat for an age. Just last week, of course, Gloucestershire had batted for 2 days to save a match against Surrey, so such things are not impossible, although the pitch at the Ageas Bowl has offered more to the bowler than the surface in Bristol. For the Essex batsman, it was a case of just batting normally and to wait to see what evolved. Nick Brown had shown some fighting qualities in the first innings, and he stuck it out for 19 overs, second time out, in taking the total to 66 with Bopara. But then Hampshire surged even further ahead by grabbing 3 wickets in quick succession. David Balcombe involved himself in the game by winning an LBW decision to see the back of Brown for 25. Before the same bowler saw Bopara guide a rising ball to Sean Irvine after contributing 39 runs to a total of 85 for 3. That was the best score by any Essex batsman in this match. Jesse Ryder then fell in the next over, wildly slashing a ball from Matt Coles into the hands of Adams. The Kiwi was out for 14. For a moment or two, Foster looked to fight fire with fire and took on Vince, pulling him for a 6. But it was no more than a cameo, after Foakes tried something similar, only to mistime his pull to Adams. Foster dragged a ball from Irvine back onto his own stumps, a wicket which left Essex staring at a 3-day defeat on 129 for 6 before tea. The final session saw the home side quickly wrap up a comprehensive victory in what was a horribly one-sided affair. Ryan Tenduscarter was LBW to Kyle Abbott, who then had David Masters caught behind in his next over. The South African quick then took his tally of wickets in this match to 8 and his tally for the championship season to 35 by damaging Monty Panesar's stumps. It was all over in a flash. Mills slogged Smith out to Vince, the right man to finish this game off, as Essex were dismissed for just 135. That meant they'd managed only 256 runs in their 2 innings in total, just 16 more runs than Vince made by himself in Hampshire's second dig. Essex supporters won't want to hear their margin of defeat, a massive 470 runs, which put this game into the Hampshire history books. They are looking very well set for promotion now, this being their 4th win from which they took 21 points. They're likely to end this round 42 points clear of 3rd place. Essex will slip down the table after securing only 3 points from a game they will want to forget.